What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another edition of the CM Show. Y'all, I'm so used to saying the Markland Mondays. For those of y'all that have been with me for a while, y'all know that Markland Mondays was what I had prior to where we are right now, which is the CM Show. The problem with Markland Mondays is it's kind of hard to do it on a Tuesday when the name of the damn show is freaking Markland Mondays. So, but anyway, without all that, y'all probably wondering, who am I? I am Christopher Markland, author, writer. I guess that is the same damn thing anyway, right? But anyway, I am a little bit discombobulated is what I am. Anyway, I'm a writer, podcaster, YouTuber, reviewer, all of that good stuff. And I am a lover of love, which is why I do this show the way that I do, because I love talking to y'all about relationships and just stuff in general. But everything I do for the most part is centered around relationships. So tonight's conversation is going to be about setting boundaries, and it's going to talk about a lot more than you think we're going to be, what you normally hear about when you talk about boundaries. And, we're going to be talking about just setting boundaries, not only in your personal life, not only in your sex life, but also in your professional life as well. So, but before we get into it, first things first, let me mention my sponsor. Tonight's candle is, I like this one, Black Ice. Black Ice. Anyway, it's from the Black Candle Box. So you can visit them at theblackcandlebox.com. Tonight's scent is, if I can get this thing to light, Anyway, for those of y'all, once you go to that website and if you make a purchase, just use the promo code the CM Show, and you'll get 15% off of all purchases $25 or more. Tonight's scent is called Black Ice. Kind of like that. It kind of fits with what we're going to be talking about tonight as well, because so I knock over Iron Man. My bad, Tony. My fault, dude. Let me move T'Challa over. Move Tony over. Bam. That thing is blazing. Man, I love them candles. Smell absolutely fantastic. Cool. And even before we even get started, y'all, please make sure you tickle the algorithm, aka you hit the like button. If you're on Facebook, you can send over what do they call them? Not emoticon. I can't remember what them damn things are called. Anyway, let me know that y'all appreciate the show. Like I said, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, y'all, we're gonna be talking about some adult stuff. All right. So even as we talk about boundaries and all that, we're going to be talking about some adult stuff. There are going to be some adult themes. So if you are under, if you are under 18, yo, please make sure that you, if this is something that you don't necessarily want to be a part of, hey, please, by all means, step away, be like, hey, I'm not a big fan of this adult stuff. I'd much rather you know what I'm saying, do that. And I don't want to offend anybody. Don't want to talk about anything. And also, while we're busy talking, this stream is going to be live on both Facebook and on YouTube. So depending on which one you on, like, see, I got somebody, let's see. Ooh, all right. So, like I said, we got a couple of people that are also going to be on Facebook, and I got a few people that are also on Instagram. Let me say what up to the people in the chat room on Facebook. Derica, what's happening? Long time no see, lady. Oh, need to holler at you. How are you doing, ma'am? Thank you for joining the conversation. G Dubs, one of my most loyal fans. What's happening, lady? Thank you for joining the conversation. Lorenzo, salute. What up, dude? Thanks for joining the show. Yolanda, what's happening? Sharon, what up? Who else we got? DJ, what's going on? No Ordinary Woman, you've been here for a minute. You've been here. You said you came in a little bit early. But hey, it don't matter, man. Thank you, all of y'all, for joining the conversation. Thank y'all for joining the conversation. As y'all know, in fact, let's go ahead and jump into the conversation and let's get this thing popping. Like I said, y'all, please make sure you support your boy. Hit that like button. On YouTube, make sure that you hit the thingamajiggies, the like button, the love, all that good stuff on Facebook. Let me grab some liquid. Anyway, you know what? I think I'm gonna get a new microphone because anyway. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. As I said earlier, I do reviews on a TV show called Ready to Love. And what that TV show is about, it's a dating show. It's a competition style dating show. And on the show, the contestants, the staff members, all of that good stuff, what they do is you have 10 men, 10 women, they're all basically at the end of each week, somebody gets voted off because they don't make a connection with the people that are there. So if one of the guys, you know, he's on a mission, they're actually all there to get a relationship. But if they don't form a connection with one of the women there, they get voted off by the women. And each they start out with 10 until they get whittled down to about the last 2 or 3 couples. One of the things that I do enjoy about the show, for instance, is that it talks about relationships in every aspect of it, right? And I really and truly do appreciate how, you know, when they go into each of these relationship scenarios, not relationships, but as they're dating on the show, you get to see how the boundaries or the lack thereof that each of those people have, how it affects them in dating. Now, there's one person in particular on the show, and that's a gentleman by the name of Cornelius. As you can see here, he is a 39-year-old electrical engineer, but he's a good dude. I ain't really got no issues with him. But the problem with Cornelius, though, right? The problem with him is that he doesn't know how to set boundaries, especially specifically with one of the ladies there. Well, not just one, but with all of them. But let's hear what Cornelius got to say.
At the end of the day, my foundation is faith, but I'm human. Like, things can happen at any time. But are you okay with if I say, look, let's just, let me chill out just for a second and just...
What's a second, though? I need this guy, like, is it an actual second?
So now, one of the things that you heard right there with Cornelius was, one of my things is, he's big on faith. Now, I'm going to ask this question, but especially to the ladies there. Did that man in any way say to you, with how he just spoke, whether it's not just the words that he used, but his body language, his tone of voice, all of those things, did anything that he say right there speak to the fact that he was setting boundaries when it came to his faith? Right now, here's another one that's a little bit more in depth. Y'all tell me what you think.
Christian through and through. On our double date, when Courtney said she had to have sex before marriage, it was kind of like a red flag. I mean, it's like, it's okay. If we're going this path, right? I think once you wait, it's like you have something to look forward to.
I see your viewpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you
Where's
right
her
now,
hand
it's
right
gonna
now,
be
y'all?
hard with you.
Now, based on what y'all just saw, y'all tell me, right? Does that seem to be a man who, based on his faith, is setting boundaries about not wanting to have sex before marriage? Now, for me, everything that I saw right there was somebody that was welcoming the attention. Now, don't get me wrong. If he told her, say, hey, I don't want to have sex before marriage, and she still came on to him, now she's violating his boundaries. But everything that I heard that man say right there was like, hey, what about this? It sounded like he was having more of a hypothetical discussion about boundaries when it came to having sex before marriage than it was him actually saying it. Now, in the cut scene, you heard him say, well, I really feel serious because I'm a Christian, this, that, and the third. But he didn't say that to her directly. You have got to have, if you have personal feelings, motivations, and especially if they're led by your spiritual walk with your creator, then you have to have some kind of strength when it comes to setting up those boundaries, because if not, people are going to come all in and do what they want to do because there are no boundaries set. Okay. Now, let's look at another character on the show along the same theme, if you will, when it comes to sex and marriage. Now, y'all tell me if you see something different when it comes to these two. Personally, but you know what? Let me let my man speak for himself.
Yeah.
That you were saving sex for marriage. Mumin has so many facets about her that I really love. And one of them is her attachment to her faith. But if we're gonna have longevity, I do have to know all aspects of you. So I just wanted some clarity.
Now, me personally, y'all, I'm not a big fan of sex before marriage, because if you're in your 30s, your 40s, and above, man, I'm all for it. Get it in. Get it in. Do what you got to do. Have fun with it. You got to do what you got to do. But you notice the difference right there. Mumin, the young lady that he's speaking to, she has established what it was that she's looking for. Now, for him, he's having the conversation, because just like you have boundaries, meaning the things that you will and will not accept, when it comes to dating or in your relationship, so does he. So does the person on the other side of the table. So now what you have to do is you have to have conversations about said boundaries to determine if there's certain things that you will or will not want to have long term. So therefore you can make a move for your life. Right. So now, let's hear what Mumin has to say.
Comfort and embrace.
Yeah. It's just a decision I've made from here on out.
All right.
I really just don't like leading with that.
Mhm.
And I really feel like it can get in the way sometimes, but I would rather connect and figure out what we have outside of that. Because I feel like that's easy. And I feel like the right guy will be able to show up to that, will be okay with that, and will be comfortable with that.
So as you can see right there, y'all, just in those few little snippets from the show, you see how much different each one of them is, right? You see how Mumin clearly sets those boundaries. Whereas if you look at it on the flip side and you see how Cornelius moved, not once did it seem like he was setting boundaries about what it is that he wanted, as far as his walk and having sex before marriage. Y'all, that's what boundaries are about. That's what, you have got to establish those boundaries. And quite honestly, it doesn't really matter whether you're talking about your personal life or whether you're talking about your business life. Think about it. No, if you, especially those of y'all out there, not necessarily my entrepreneurs out there, but if you work for a conversation, if you work for let's try that again. I wonder what's in this drink right here. Excuse me. If you work for a corporation, just about every corporation in America is gonna have an employee handbook. And in that employee handbook, what they're doing is they are establishing boundaries for what the company will and will not allow in order for you to work there. Now think about it. If that business entity has rules and regulations about what they will not accept, why is it that you don't have those in your personal life? It's little things along the way that a lot of people do not establish that allow them to that cause problems to come into their relationship. And it doesn't even matter what kind of personal relationship you're talking about, whether you're talking about your family, because think about it, y'all, in a couple weeks, hell, in fact, is it next week? Shit, is Thanksgiving next week? Yeah, Michelle, that word is kicking my butt. You ain't point it out like that. It's just, woo. Man, Michelle, you had to call me out like that. I mean, oh, snap. That was absolutely uncalled for. I'm just saying. Yes, it was kicking my butt. Anyway, had to take a drink of water. Yeah. Anyway, think about it. In a couple weeks, or should I say next week, you have Thanksgiving coming up, right? So, at all these, at a lot of family gatherings, you always got that one auntie or somebody's grandma that just gonna talk to you just reckless. Right. And what it is that they think that because there's a familiar relationship between you and them, they can just say whatever the hell they want to about you, your spouse, your kids, your life, all of that good stuff. But no, if you set them boundaries about what you will and will not accept, especially if you set it from jump, then you're going to nip that in the bud, because it's like, yeah, they're not going to talk to you any kind of way. And here's the thing, to establish boundaries, you ain't got to be rude. You don't have to be abrasive. You don't have to be negative anyway, because what you're doing, the boundaries that you're setting it not just for yourself, but you're also setting it for them. For yourself, you're saying, hey, I will not allow somebody to talk to me that way. And what you're setting for them is, I will not, that person will not allow me to talk to them any kind of way. And it's the same thing when it comes to your even closer interpersonal relationships, whether you're talking about your marriage, whether you're talking about, a girlfriend, boyfriend situation, whether you're dating, or, we're going to get into that as well. Ooh, okay. Where's my, I can't make notes without something to write with. Anyway, I'll get in a second. But, it's one of those things, because here's how it works in relationships. How it starts is how it's going to continue. And what we saw there with those video clips that I just played was, you saw people who are in the dating process telling the other person what it is that they want and what it is that they will not allow. Now, for Mumin, she said that she doesn't want to have sex before marriage. She made it clear that because of her faith, that's what she wanted. Frank, which was the gentleman that was talking to her, did want to have sex before marriage. So now he was like, hey, but these are my boundaries, which means my boundaries are going to intertwine, and we're going to intertwine. That's what I would like. They're having a conversation. At the end of the day, if the two of them can't come to an agreement, a meeting of the mind, a meeting of the hearts, where they are in alignment, then that relationship just won't work. But if there are clear boundaries by each person, then the other person knows where the other stands, and they can move accordingly. Now, contrast that to what we saw between Cornelius and Courtney, the very first two. If his mouth is saying one thing, which is, well, partially saying, hey, I don't want to have sex before marriage. But what you do see, what his body is saying, is him leaning back, allowing her to lean on him, allowing her to put, to rub her hands on his inner thigh, allowing her to do all kinds of things that are way more personal than it seems. How can you then establish boundaries if the lines are blurred? if you set boundaries, you have to set clear boundaries. Right now we're in football season, right? And think about all of the body contortions that a wide receiver, it doesn't matter on what level, whether it's in college, whether it's in, the pros, the contortions that a receiver will go through to make sure that he keeps his feet in bounds as he's damn near falling out of bounds in order to stay within the boundaries. Now, if they are willing to go through all of that in order to make sure that they stay in bounds, the reason why is there is a clear delineation between out of bounds and in bounds. The same thing should be with your relationships. If you know what you want, if you know what you don't, then there is no blurred lines because you know what you will and will not allow. Now, let's take it even further when in your interpersonal relationships. Let me shout somebody out real quick. What up, Jennifer? Thank you for joining the conversation, lady. It's about time you join one of these things, man. Thank you. What up, Carrie? What's happening? Thank you for joining. Michelle, what's going on? Thank you for joining the conversation, ma'am. All right. So let's dig a little bit deeper into our interpersonal relationships when it comes to marriage and whatnot, right? Especially for my man Lorenzo. We had a conversation a while back where Lorenzo was a part of that, and we were talking about sex workers. We were talking about a lot of things, right? That related to sex and more on the domination side, the BDSM aspect of it. Now, those are definitely when it comes to bounds, because what you actually have is literal bounds. Somebody is tied up, or somebody is, whether it's you're applying a little pressure in the form of say flogging or, spanking, those kind of things. You definitely need to have the boundaries established as far as what you will and will not allow, because when you're talking about pain, you need to know what your pain threshold is, and they need to know how far they can go. So but even if we don't take it to that, and I don't use the word lightly, but extreme, even just in your normal day to day, there are certain things when it comes to your sexual compatibility with your partner that if your partner doesn't know what your boundaries are, how can they please you? If your partner doesn't know what your boundaries are, how can you be pleased? So all of those things are tied together, and that's a part of you communicating with your partner, so that way y'all are on the same page. Everybody has boundaries, and it doesn't matter, how old you are. It doesn't matter what aspect of your relationship you're in. Everybody has boundaries, right? And if you don't know what those boundaries are, then how can you expect your partner to know? If you don't know what it is that you like, how can your partner know? If you don't know what it is you will and will not do, how can your partner go about pleasing you? It's all of those things that all come together when it comes to relationship, when it comes to boundaries. You have got to know what your boundaries are, so that way you can articulate them to the people around you, especially the closest people to you. So I really want to hear what y'all have to say when it comes to this particular topic. I'm going to be dropping the link in the conversation, in the chat, and it doesn't matter whether you're on Facebook. It doesn't matter whether you're on YouTube. All you got to do is just clink. I can't talk tonight, y'all. I don't know what's going on, man. But all you have to do is just click that link right there that I just dropped, and that's going to put you into the Zoom room. If you do not want to be on the show, if you don't want your face shown, you don't have to. Just let me know, hey, Chris, I want to talk to you, but I just don't want to have my face shown in there. You and we can just have a conversation as regular. But if you don't mind, hey, let's run it. I want to hear what y'all have to say. This is one of those conversations, y'all. Like I said, as I was watching the show, I realized that, man, this dude here does not know how to set bounds. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. Let me run this back a little bit, because I think I had a couple of people that joined in late, and I want people to actually see what it was that started this conversation.
Christian,
or that started this topic.
On our double date, when Courtney said she had to have sex before.
Let's go. Let me start right here. So what we have here, y'all, for those of you that just joined, is a dude by the name of Cornelius. And as you can see, he's a 39-year-old electrical engineer. Now,
At the end
Look
of the
at
day,
their
my
body language. I
foundation
want y'all to
is
pay
faith.
attention to this.
But I'm human. Like, things can happen at any time. But are you okay with if I say, look, let's just, let me chill out just for a second and just.
What's a second though? I need this guy, like, is it an actual second?
Now, with what y'all just saw and what he was saying, did that sound like somebody who was really and truly trying to establish bounds between him and the person that he was interested in? Y'all let me know. Now let's watch Mumin, who is the complete opposite. Listen to this.
Comfort and embrace.
Yeah. It's just a decision I've made from here on out.
All right.
I really just don't like leading with that.
Mm.
And I really feel like it can get in the way sometimes, but I would rather connect and figure out what we have outside of that. Because I feel like that's easy. And I feel like the right guy will be able to show up to that, will be okay with that, and will be comfortable with that.
So as you can see right there, she was a lot more clear. And also based on how they were sitting, she wasn't laying all up under him. She wasn't all, she was holding his hands, but that's not the same as, being literally in his personal space talking about, hey, I don't want to have sex before marriage. You cannot have blurred lines when it comes to your boundaries. You cannot have it both ways. But at the same time, you do still have to have the conversations when it comes to you discussing what it is you do and don't want. So look at how Frank approached the matter.
Yeah.
That you were saving sex for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Mumin has so many facets about her that I really love. And one of them is her attachment to her faith. But if we're gonna have longevity, I do have to know all aspects of you. So I just wanted some clarity.
And of course, the only way he could get clarity is to know very clearly what the boundaries are, what it is that Mumin does or doesn't want. The only way for him to know that is that he has got to have those boundaries set. Anyway, Jen, can you hear me, ma'am? All right. I take it you don't want your video shown? Okay, wait. He said not tonight. It's all good. All right, hold on one second. I'm going to bring you into the conversation, ma'am. Hold on one second. Hey, Jen, you there?
I'm here.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Welcome to the show. Tonight's conversation is about setting boundaries. What do you have on the topic, ma'am?
Thank you. So I want to add another layer to that.
Okay.
Great topic, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So definitely, I agree with you 100%. Don't be afraid to establish boundaries. Don't be afraid to communicate with your partner what it is that you want or don't want, what you like or what you don't like. Also, to the person that's receiving those boundaries, don't be offended. And don't be afraid to have that conversation and establish those boundaries back. It is a beautiful thing when two adults have a mature conversation and express to each other what it is that they like, what it is that they don't like. Maybe your partner has done something that does not make them feel good. And you have to not be afraid to say that. When you say it, when you tell the person what it is that they've done that doesn't make them feel good, the person that's receiving it, don't be offended by that. Listen to it, learn what does make your partner feel good, and then implement that. And I'm telling you, that is a beautiful thing when that whole process happens in full circle.
You know what? You're exactly right, because it as crazy as it sounds, and correct me if I'm wrong if you agree with me on this, as you're establishing boundaries, you're actually getting closer to the person.
Yes.
Because it's like, it seems like the boundaries that you're establishing are going to push them away. But, if both of y'all are on the same page, and if both of you are open to accepting the boundaries that are being put forth, you're actually able to get closer to that person, because now you know just where the line is, and now you know not to cross it. You know that, okay, if I say this, they won't get offended. They will get offended, so let me not say that. You actually now have clarity because you know how to move.
Exactly. No, I agree 100%. And I low-key don't even like to use the word boundary, but I like to even look at it more like educating each other, learning each other, and then, and going from there. And I'm telling you, if you meet somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you express to them how you feel and the things that you like, and they don't respect it, that person is selfish. That person is selfish, and you don't want to be with that person anyway. Because when you're in a relationship with somebody, if you love that person, you want that person to be happy. You want that person to feel good. And if
So
you
true.
don't want that, or if you feel nothing, if your mate is unhappy and doesn't feel good, and you feel nothing from that, you are selfish, and you don't deserve to be with that person anyway.
Tell me how you really feel. I think we might have hit a button right there. Wait a minute. That was hey, hey, y'all in the chat. Did y'all feel that energy right there? Did y'all feel that? Because I know I ain't the only one that felt that. That was a little bit of fire right there. Wait a minute. There was a little bit of heat right there, man. Wait a minute. Did we touch on something right there? Because it seemed like that. You were waiting to get that out. What's going on? Talk to me. Talk to me. I need to know.
Actually, I haven't been, well, that's a lie. I have been in situations where I've met people that are selfish, but I think that's just a constant for everybody. That's not a Jen thing. That's just, we all meet people that are selfish. Yeah. But
love
recently
is selfish.
I was in a scenario where I was able to communicate my likes and dislikes, and he was able to communicate his likes and dislikes. And then we went back and we went back and we did what each other liked. And there was no judgment, there was no offensiveness, nobody was too sensitive in the conversation. It was an open, honest, mature adult conversation, and I'm telling you, it was the best experience that I have ever had. That's where that fire comes from. It was the best experience I've ever had.
So basically, it sounded like it touched you somewhere that you needed to be touched. It took you back in time, right? Hey, man, I'm just saying. You know what though? It's one thing I've learned as well, and I appreciate what you're saying so much, because it is so true. Is that when you are able to have the space and the grace to say what it is that you really feel, and what it is that you don't like, what it is that you don't appreciate about what that person did or didn't do, that person then is able to feel, if they, like you said originally, if they accept what it is that you're saying based on what it is, they may not like it, but if you're saying, hey, I don't like this, or I do like this, if they are able to accept it, then it does make it better. And that's when you can feel that fire, because now you feel comfortable and confident in that person listened to you. And it's amazing when you feel listened to, when you feel empowered, you feel like doing a few things, right?
That's right. And then what does that do? You bring up another good point. Then what does that do? Now you've created a great line of communication between you and your partner. Now you're in a space where you guys can potentially talk about anything, because you don't have to be worried about the repercussions of that conversation.
Correct. Because now you know exactly, like, hey, you know what? This is all right. I can say this without, that person getting upset or offended. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Hey, thank you for joining the conversation on this one. I appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, no doubt. Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Yo, did y'all feel that? I'm just saying, did y'all feel that? That's right, DJ. You said DJ said she felt that. Yo, that is so true, man. That is so true, that when you are able to communicate openly and freely with your partner, you can just say some of anything, you know what I'm saying? Because now man, I'm being listened to. It's a beautiful thing. Oh my God. That's what they're called, reaction buttons on Facebook. Now I know. Ooh. Anyway, man, it's amazing how, and I'm gonna touch on something that Jen just talked about, and fear. When it comes to relationships, The fear that we have will hold us back so many times, right? Yeah, you're right, Carrie. She had to get that off her chest for real. Man, I think she got off something else too. But I think that's why she had the conversation. Oh, snap. Anyway, hold on. Michelle, can you hear me, ma'am? Okay. Do you want your camera on or off? Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can actually see you, first of all. Oh, there you are. Hold on 1 second. Welcome to the show, ma'am. Tonight's conversation is setting boundaries. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you this lovely and wonderful evening?
I'm loving it. What you got on the topic tonight?
Well, I'm going to address specifically Cornelius from Ready to Love.
Okay.
The one thing that I noticed about Cornelius is that, yes, he's a man of faith, whatever. However, he is very much so enjoying the attention.
Mm-hmm.
I think more so than anything else, that's why he's responding the way that he responded. Because in the confessional booth, he's saying all the right things. In the confessional booth, he's like, well, no, I don't really think that our convictions line up and blase squaze. But in person, he has no problem with her hand being on his thigh. Yep. In person, at no point does he actually make a real attempt to get Courtney to stop what she's doing. In fact, I want to say at one point,
Yeah, like I was agreeing with, like you said, put some distance between them. Right.
At one point, I think he kind of gave this kind of like laissez-faire explanation as to, if I needed you to stop, or if I wanted you to wait. I forget his exact words. Will you be okay with that? However, I mean, things could happen. I'm human, I'm a man. So he still had that little caveat in there. It's like, nah, sir, either you have convictions or you don't. If you're condemning her, or if you're judging her for not being on the same wavelength as you, as far as your belief system and having sex before marriage, then you need to make that very clear. There shouldn't be any gray areas, especially if you're the one introducing the gray areas. It shouldn't be a conversation of, well, I'm human, things happen, ha ha ha. Nah, he's enjoying the attention. He doesn't seem, to me, the vibe I get from him is that he's a guy that probably hasn't gotten as much attention. He is liking it, and he doesn't want to cut that off completely. He wants to make sure there's a lane for that. I don't really feel like he is as strong in his belief system as he wants people to think that he is.
Why do you think he's not as strong as he think as strong as he wants people to believe? Because you're 100% right. In the confessional booth, he's treating it like a pulpit, but out in a one-on-one, he's treating it like he's at the club. Why do you think that there's a disconnect?
I mean, honest feeling, and I don't know nothing about this man, I kind of feel like he's probably a lame, just being honest.
Okay.
And this is the most attention he's gotten in a long time. The other reason I feel that way is how he allows the other women, i.e. Camille, to treat him.
Okay.
Like, he has no problem being her personal doormat. Like, she basically chumps him off all the time, and he's okay with that. She's his number one. So I feel like he, and I hate to say it, lack of a better word, lack of a better phrase, like, he's probably a lame in real life. And now you have all these beautiful people in this vacuum, and he's now shot to the top of the list because there's only but so many men. It started off with 10 men, now you're down to what, 6, 7, 8. So he's getting a lot of attention, and he doesn't want to necessarily cut off that attention, but he's very aware that he's on a TV show. And, the pastor, the deacon, Sister Mary, Susie Beth is going to see this at home. So let me try to nice it up for the confessional booth. But in the moment, he was very much so all there for it. So that's my personal thoughts.
You know what? It's kind of funny that you say that, there for the attention. Because as I started, as I was doing my research, my show prep, for tonight, I came across this man's IMDb page. And, it's like, I get it. A lot of people on the show do want the attention. However, that shouldn't change your convictions. Because I'm a firm believer that as a man, if you say something, you need to stand by what you say. So I think you hit the nail on the head 100%. You know, I think there's more to it than that. I like what you said. If you're the one that's introducing the boundaries, then you need to be strong within those boundaries. Be firm in those boundaries. You're the one bringing it up, not her. So if it's something that is that serious to you, then why are you halfway, you know, like I said in my review, you can't be a little bit pregnant when it comes to your boundaries. Either they are or they are not.
I think that he just doesn't know what to do with the attention, to be honest with you. And once he has a moment to step away and he's not in the moment, he's a little bit more clear head. But in the moment, you have someone, I mean, Courtney is absolutely beautiful and stunning. So he's probably thinking, let me not shut this down because I'm not used to this. I mean, again, I don't know this man from Adam, but that's just the feeling I got. I felt like if he really wanted to shut that down, he would. I think he's scared of Camille, personally. I think he is. I feel like he probably grew up around a lot of women, didn't have too many male figures around, so he's comfortable with whatever treatment he receives from a woman. I don't know. It's just a lot going on with Cornelius. I don't think he understands boundaries. I don't think he knows how to set boundaries because he doesn't understand boundaries.
You know what? Thank you for that. And also thank you for calling in tonight. I do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
You know what? Michelle raised some very good points, but also Lorenzo in the chat raised two good points as well. It seems to me like what Lorenzo just says, he's comfortable with the treatment that he receives. That is something that I kind of picked up on when it comes to Cornelius as I've been watching the show and doing my reviews. And it seems to me like you get what you allow. And I'm not saying that in a positive way. You get what you allow, because what you want is what you're going to get. And I think that a lot of times what people do is they use external things and use those as the boundaries instead of using your internal, or in this case, your intestinal fortitude to set those boundaries. And by that, I mean, just like what Lorenzo said right there, a lot of people like to hide behind the Bible. They don't live their life by the Bible, or not even just the Bible, but by whatever, book of their faith, whether it's a Book of Mormon, whether it's, the Quran, whether it's the Bible, whatever the case may be, is they use their faith as a boundary, not their walk with whatever deity they may be following, but just the tenets of that. And let me try and break that down a little bit. You ever heard of a Muslim eating that baby back rib? But yet and still, they'll be the same one quoting, books of the Quran as far as women should do this or men should do that. But then you turn around, they're eating a pork chop sandwich. It's along those lines is how I look at it. Not necessarily Cornelius specifically, but just people in general. It's like if they need to hide behind the cover of whatever cloth that they may have, that's exactly what they do. So what Lorenzo is saying right here is that is a Christian as a convenience. It's one of those people, you have a politician that rails against homosexuality and, those gay people and blah, blah, blah. Then next, they get caught up in a sex scandal because, they either get caught with a live boy or a dead girl. It's those people that want to hide behind whatever their faith may be, or they're conveniently that they only show up on a Sunday, but the rest of the week, boy, they just letting it. It's just on and popping. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like DJ saying right here. Cornelius seems to be one who wants to look good, not necessarily wants to do or be good. And a lot of people do that, you know, and I don't want to necessarily pick on Cornelius right now, but it's definitely the way he carries himself on the show is indicative of a lot of people in real life. You know, it's like your boundaries, the boundaries that you set are how you should live your life, because what you're doing, and and there's a certain level of maturity, there's a certain level of inner strength, and kind of like going back to what Michelle just said, if you're not worried about the attention, but instead you're moving with intention. In other words, I know who I am, I know what it is I want, I know what it is I don't. And then let's go back to what Jennifer said. Those same people who operate with that intention are going to actually have way more fulfilling experiences, not just in life in general, but in certain specific aspects of your life when it may come to certain different things that you enjoy, you know, be it sexual pleasure, sexual gratification, all of those things, because you are honest in what it is that you do and don't want. So in other words, you have got to have the strength of conviction in order to be more full and complete. For the life of me, I just don't understand why certain people are scared to set boundaries. Because at the end of the day, all you're doing is protecting yourself. Going back to the show, it seems like Cornelius doesn't want to set those boundaries, because if he does, like what Michelle just said, he won't get the attention that it seems that he's craving. However, if he was to set boundaries about what it is Michelle hinted at it, you know, there's another lady on the show by the name of Camille. You know, if he was to be more in tune with who he was and what it was that he will and will not allow, he actually would get more attention, because he would be he would come across as a stronger, more assertive man. But instead, he does not do that. So now people who do look at him are like, yo, what the hell's going on? I don't want to be with a man that would allow somebody to talk to him like that. Well, he doesn't have any boundaries. So if he's going to allow that person to talk to him, yeah, no thanks. I'm good. I am good. Thanks. I'm good. Love and joy. He doesn't want a piece of that. Let's see what we got. Yolanda White, she says, Cornelius appears to be a yes man. Yeah. Now on that, I definitely agree. And the reason why I say that as well is because he's saying yes when he's in the confessional. He says yes to whatever questions the producers are asking him, because yes, I'm a man. You know, I'm a Christian man. This, that, and the third. When he's in front of Camille, he's a yes man all day. In fact, I'm not sure if I had that video. You know, I'm gonna try and bring it up while we're over here talking. So it's like he sees certain things, and it's like, sir, I'm trying to understand, why is it that you would allow somebody to talk to you that way? You know what I'm saying? Why in the world would you allow somebody to talk to you that way? If you know that's not who you are, why would you allow somebody to talk to you that way? It doesn't matter whether, you know, you're a Christian or not. At the end of the day, you got to have some kind of self-respect. You have got to have boundaries as far as what it is you will and will not allow for somebody to talk to you a certain way. You cannot just have people just talk to you any kind of way, how they feel like it, and you just let that fly. You cannot do that, man. Anyway, let me see if I can get this thing played.
Wait a minute. Wait.
I told you it's hard for me to see you
Talking to other people.
It is. Like, these girls will come up to you being flirtatious and be like, in your face, and you just, oh, country bumpkin ass, like.
Let's try that again.
Wait.
I told you it's hard for me to see you.
Talking to other people.
It is. Like, these girls will come up to you being flirtatious and be like, in your face, and you just, oh, country bumpkin ass, like, you're like.
Damn.
Do you see that person standing in the background? So think about it. If you would allow somebody to talk to you that way, right? If you would allow somebody to actually form their mouth to talk to you that kind of way, there are people in the background that see how you're moving. So if you don't have the self-respect to be like, hey, you know what? This ain't what I want, man, that's what you're going to run into. Now, Lorenzo, my man. Hey, and I also want to talk a little bit about the BDSM aspect of it too, man. If you get the opportunity to talk about that as far as setting boundaries when it comes to things like that, if you get the opportunity, man, call in. I definitely want to tap into that because, I don't want to just beat up on Cornelius because Lord knows I think he gets beat up enough on Camille. But what you just said right there, and ladies, y'all ladies in the chat, let me know if this is if y'all agree or not. If you have a yes man, how much fun is that? Where basically whatever you say goes. Now, I'm not saying that you got to have damn Chris Brown beating you up every other day. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, if you have a yes man that basically, doesn't assert himself, then, how does that, basically like Yolanda just said right there, basically no backbone. How long, would you want to be with that kind of man? Like how yeah, I agree with you, G-Dubs. That always makes me cringe as well because it's like, dude, man, I don't know. It comes a point in time where you have just got to be, and I hate to say this, but you just got to be a damn man. There's only certain things that whew, oh my goodness. Let me see if I can bring in the other video because that was two parts to that. Let me see. It's like, every time I see that, I'm like, bruh, why would you? Why would you let somebody talk to you that way? That's the thing that for the life of me, I don't get it. Why in the world would you let this woman talk to you like that?
Listen, because that's what it is. Like, I feel like you're so naive and you don't understand what they're doing. You're like feeding into it like a dumbass. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And it's not.
Hold on, let's try that again.
Listen, because that's what it is. Like, I feel like you're so naive and you don't understand what they're doing. You're like feeding into it like a dumbass. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And it's not. And I'm not going to stay there for that.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm really not. I'm not doing that.
So, I mean, oh my God. Do you see the look on his face? And that's how he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing. It's like he is trying his best to make her feel good. Michelle says, but yet your number one literally cusses you out. Man, you know what? Let me see what Michelle's first comment was, because you're exactly right on that. Like, yeah, here you go. Like, how are you so strong in your Christian convictions, but yet your literal number one cusses you out? Man, let's see. Let the Lady Speak podcast. She says, if she leaves the show, he will get eliminated because no one else can get next to him. You're exactly right. Because and here's what I do like about the show, though, and I appreciate you saying that. What I do like about the show, Ready to Love, is that as they basically eliminate the weakest links, the weakest competitors. So now the women that are left ain't trying to have nobody like Cornelius left behind. Lorenzo, he says in the BDSM world, he is a sub. Man, you ain't never lied. Because, I mean, Jesus. Let's see. Let the lady speak. She says, no, I require for a man to set boundaries because I want to know that you know how to set them for yourself and others around our relationship. That is an excellent point because what you're saying is this. If you're not going to establish boundaries with me, then you're not establishing boundaries with anybody else. And if you're not establishing boundaries with anybody else, that means anybody else can just come on in and dibble and dabble because you don't know how to say no. That is a fantastic point. If you don't know how to say no to me, then how the hell can I expect you to say no to somebody else? That means that anybody that just jumps in your DMs, anybody that, gives you a call, anybody that does whatever, you're just going to be kikiing it up with that person because I know that you're not strong enough to say no. You're not strong enough to set boundaries. Yo, I'm telling you, DJ, That I agree with that 100%. Man. Let's see. Michelle says confidence and assertiveness goes a long way. A lack of both indicates a lack of protection. Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. A yes man takes anything. A yes man takes anything. A punk. Man, y'all can be brutal when y'all want to be. Good Lord. Oh, y'all. Man, y'all are brutal. Jesus, she called that man a straight up punk. Oh, okay. Let's see. Again, if you want to join the conversation, y'all, please make sure that your audio, any other audio that you have is disconnected, because if not, we're going to get a whole bunch of looping. Also, make sure your microphone is connected as well. And if you don't want your camera shown, just let me know. I won't bring it up. So if you can have your camera on just to talk to me, but if you do not want to have your camera shown, just let me know. Yolanda says, good Lord, he's a virgin and is, oh my God, she called that dude a virgin. Wait a minute. Why are you going to call that man? He's 39 years old. There's no way in hell somebody who's 40 years old damn near is not. Oh my God. He's missing out on a whole lot of life. I ain't going to say my man's a virgin, but God damn, Yolanda, she ain't pulling no punches. Jesus. I'm saying, DJ. She does. I'm saying. Call that man. What's that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin? Holy shit. Boy, y'all are brutal sometimes. You know that? Oh my goodness. Oh. Now, let me take this conversation in a different direction. Just another play on the y'all are silly, man. Another play on boundaries. Do you think that that people can set artificial boundaries to where instead of them putting up the boundaries to let the other person know what it is they will and won't do, instead they set up boundaries to try and protect themselves from someone getting too close? In other words, they won't let just something as simple as they don't want that person to walk them home or walk them to their front door, or they don't want to have them open the door for a man, hold the door for them, because, just little things like that. Do you think that those types of things, because I've not a lot of people have said this, but I really want to know, since we're having this conversation, that a lot of times people set boundaries that they are trying to keep people out because of the fear of allowing somebody to get too close, and therefore the potential of someone who is too close hurting them. So the boundaries that they set are not healthy boundaries. And a lot of times, just because, someone is close to you doesn't mean that they are going to hurt you. But what it does do is it allows you to not get hurt. So what it is that you're doing is you're saying, hey, you know what? I've been hurt before. The last relationship that I was in, that person hurt me. So what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure that nobody else gets close enough to hurt me. So the boundaries that I'm setting, I know that it's basically a Great Wall of China. It's going to extend all the way to the sea, and it's going to be so tall that nobody is going to be able to get close enough. However, if somebody does get across, then it's meant to be. But damn well nobody's going to be able to cross those boundaries. People do that a lot, and I'll be honest with you, there's some things that I've done that as well back in my past, because I'm like, you know what, I've been hurt before, so I don't want nobody to come up too close to me. So I put distance. I made sure I didn't get too close. If I felt them getting too close to me, then I would deflect, or I would maneuver the conversation, the relationship in such a way so that way they didn't even know that I was pushing them away because they were just too close to me. Michelle says there are boundaries. There are things that are simply safety concern, and then there are games and or issues. Okay. Let's see. Some profess to be a way that they care that they are. Some profess to be a way that they are for safety purposes. You're right, and that's what I'm talking about. You can couch whatever you want to in whatever terms you want to make yourself sound like the good guy, like the good person. Well, I don't want to do this because that. But in reality, what you're doing is you're setting up an artificial boundary because you don't want to get close to somebody. Carrie says that is where healing and therapy should come into place. Yeah. Yep. Lorenzo, man, you are 100% right. No matter what happens, sooner or later, the truth is going to come out. And no matter how you try to cover it up, then yeah. Let's see. Michelle says a phrase that I hate is, if you can't love me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. Man, if that ain't some bullshit, I agree with you. Man, I agree with you. Man, why can I not get it right? You have too many L's in there. Let the lady speak. She says, that's more like a barrier than a barricade. Healthy boundaries are a requirement, though. Hell yeah, they are. Hell yeah, they are. And you're right. It is a barrier to entry. It's like you're coming up with everything under the sun to prevent anybody, specifically someone that wants to love you. You're putting up a way for them to not get close to you. You're exactly right. That is a damn barrier. You know, they got to swim through a moat, all of those things, right? I agree. Let's see. No, ma'am, sir. You need therapy. No one should have to overcome your worst in order to be rewarded with the possibility of your best. I'm telling you, you know what? And y'all ladies are guilty of this. Now, I'm going to call y'all out. Y'all, man, y'all, and I'm speaking broadly. I know I am speaking very broadly right now. There are a lot of ladies where they have so many hurdles and things that you have to prove your love. Like this is some medieval times and shit, right? Where you have to swim across a moat and fight a dragon and do all of this silly shit just to get close. And it's like, why? It shouldn't be that hard to be with somebody. I shouldn't have to do all of those things just because you are, just for the possibility of being with you. This ain't no Disney fairy tale. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do all of that with a glass slipper to hunt your ass down. No. I'm just saying, y'all be doing the most. Y'all be doing the absolute most. Hold on 1 second. Ma'am, can you hear me? Hello? Let the lady speak, ma'am. Okay, do me a favor. Can you mute your audio? I can. Mute whatever that is in the background because it's causing like a little background noise. I can hear you. Yeah, because now we got like a little bit of a loop. So just mute whatever you have going in the background. All right, you ready? Okay. While you get your audio and stuff straight, I can hear you. I could hear you, but now it sounds like you muted everything. She said, "Hold up, swole up." She said, "Ah." All right, you ready to go? Okay. I'm trying to bring you in, but okay. Let me know when you're ready. Just hold on 1 second. All right, you ready to go? You got your audio connected? All right, I'm gonna go back to the chat till you get everything situated. Anyway, so yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's like people have to go through all kind of hoops in order to, all kind of hoops to get to you. Man, it's not that serious. All right, sounds like you're connected. You ready? I can hear you. It just sounds like there's a loop though. So just mute the actual audio, and then I'm gonna bring you in. You ready? Let's go. You there? All right. Not quite sure why that is acting up. You there? All right. Y'all, let me go back to see, because she is having some audio difficulties. Okay. Yolanda, she said, not me. What do you mean, not you? I'm just saying, yes, maybe not you, but think, you know what? I want all y'all ladies in this chat, think about somebody that was trying to get at you, but for whatever reason, whether it was a lack of a connection, you just weren't attracted to them, maybe they just had a teeny weeny, whatever the case may be, and you put all kind of hurdles to make sure that they couldn't come close to you. Come on now. You cannot tell me that didn't happen. I'm just saying. Not that that's happened to me a lot. It did though, but still, you know, maybe I'm just speaking from hurt, but I ain't gonna say it too loud. Okay, I can hear you now, but it just sounds like there's a lot, you're not connected properly. I can hear you now. All right, I'm gonna bring you in. You ready? All right. So thank you for joining the conversation, ma'am. What do you have on the topic, tonight's conversation that we're talking about, setting boundaries?
Hi, thank you for having me on. Thank you. I've been a fan for a while. I enjoy your content.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Boundaries are very important across the board, and especially in romantic relationships. And I just talked about this recently, so I love the fact that you're talking about it. When it comes down to Cornelius, like I foresee him having an issue with his mother, because he said he was getting married for his mother. He says he was waiting for marriage, but then he's kind of like, I think so, maybe, possibly. So that means that's not strong. So I just don't feel like he's strong in his standing and his conviction. And I am one to always say, if you're dating someone and they're not sure about themselves and who they are and when they stand, you may want to walk away, because you don't deal with a person of confusion, you know? And for me, he's confused and he seems a little misguided. So I don't think he really knows who he is. When I see him as a woman, I feel like that's a confused man who doesn't know himself and who he is. And you don't want to date that if you for sure know who you are and you're looking for a certain type of committed relationship.
You know what? I like what you just said. Confusion versus conviction. And if you are confused in who you are, then how can you stand in conviction in terms of a relationship? That is a powerful thing you just said.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No doubt.
Thank
man.
you. I grew up in a church and I've seen like the difference of people who really believe what they believe, and then people who believe because they're supposed to believe, but it isn't their truth. You know, you need to know your own truth and
Your
what
own
you believe
truth.
in and who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is and that comes from your particular walk. That comes from your relationship with your God. That comes from your beliefs. And if you can't even stand strong in who you are and what it is you want, then you're in a world of hurt. Yeah. Wow.
Exactly. And he's a great example of that, because again, I go back to his mom and to Camille, and even how Courtney treated him, like he couldn't set boundaries around anyone. So I would foresee a man like him having issues with his mom telling him what to do, and he's trying to please his mom and he's trying to please his wife, and he's just he's just trying to please everyone, and he's completely lost. So that, ladies, don't date a man who's that confused and who can't stand in his own truth.
I'm going to dig in a little bit, ma'am. Have you ever had that situation personally where somebody was interested in you, on the outside, it looked good, let me guess, y'all, they had the gray sweatpants action going on. So everything seemed to be good. The package, quote unquote, everything looked good, but you knew that internally there was something wrong. Have you ever had that kind of situation happen? I'm going to take your silence as a no. I'm not sure if I lost you, but hey, you still there? There you are.
I have I'm gonna tell you what the issue I had. The love of my life. No, can you hear me?
It looks like you're lagging a little bit. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring you back to the background, and then
No,
I'm gonna bring
can
you back.
Hear me?
I can hear you. You just sound like a what do they call it?
No.
Hold on. Okay, I can still hear you, but I just took you off from the audience.
He didn't set boundaries around. He constantly interfered.
There you go. Okay, you said he constantly interfered with what? Just when it's getting good. There you go. Okay. All right, start over. You said the love of your life, and what happened?
I said his stepmother
Constantly interfered.
his stepmother.
Mm-hmm. So his stepmother constantly interfered, and that caused issues within your relationship. Boy, I swear, technology, just as the conversation's getting good. I'm gonna move you back. As soon as I hear, no, you're good. I can hear you now. You ready? Nope, not yet. Okay, so y'all, I'm not sure how much of that, ma'am. I'm not sure how much of that y'all heard, but basically, you're still connected, by the way. I'm not sure how much of that y'all heard, but basically what she said was, the love of her life, the person that she was interested in, I guess someone that she was dating. The connection was just a little bit off. So we really didn't get a chance to see I didn't get a chance to hear what it was, but, her stepmother was his mother was interfering in their relationship. And as such, that's what caused issues between them. That, y'all, is one of those things where if you are not able to set the boundaries, not only within the aspects, and if you can hear me, I'm gonna bring you back in a second. But if you're not able to set those boundaries within your relationship, then what it is that's going to happen is people outside of your relationship are going to influence said relationship. And that's what she's saying there. If you are not strong enough to say, hey, I hear what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's no problem. It's just a bad audio. It happens, right? But it's one of those things where if you're not able to set those boundaries, then people are going to come in. External forces are going to come in and wreak havoc, and that is what she was getting at, man. That is some good stuff. If you want to join the conversation, I'm going to drop the link in there as well. Like I said, it's both live on we're live. This conversation is live on both Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, not yet Instagram. Facebook and YouTube. Y'all, it's been a long day. Anyway, if you want to join the conversation, you can hit the link there. And I'm getting the comments both in Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to join the conversation, just hit that boundary. If you do not want your face shown, just let me know, and we'll make sure that you your face doesn't show up, but we can still have the conversation. You're still going to have to be live. I'm going to need to see you, but we're not going to broadcast your face over the interwebs. What you just said really, I didn't even stop and think about that as far as when it comes to your mommy and daddy issues, how much those factors will affect your relationship. I honestly didn't even think about that. That is, man. Oh, I don't know what's going on with my broadcast. Let me go back through the chat. I think I missed a few. Okay, no, we're all caught up. Anyway, y'all, it's let's wrap this up a little bit. But it's one of those things, man. When it comes to setting boundaries, you have to be able to set those boundaries, but you have to know what your personal boundaries and limitations are. Meaning the things that you will accept, the things that you won't, the things that you will do, the things that you won't. You've got to have those boundaries, because if not, people will take advantage of you, because quite honestly, they won't know that they are taking advantage of you, because they don't know where the line begins and where the line ends. So if you do not know what it is you like, what it is you want, what it is you desire, what it is you accept, if you don't know, if you're going to stand in kind of like what the lady said, as far as, your convictions versus you're too confused, confusion versus conviction. If you don't know what your values are, then anybody's going to be able to come in and just disrupt you and your mission. Man, those are some powerful things, because your walk with whatever your creator is something that you have to have. And you have to say, okay, I don't want to do this for this reason. And also, when you take it down even to a deeper level, your sexual desires, if you know that you don't want to do that, or you don't want that done to you, you have to set those boundaries. Because if you just say, you know what, well, they love me, so I'm just going to let them do what they want to do, what you're saying is you're putting them above you. You're instead saying, you know what, I'm going to let them satisfy their desires and put what they want ahead of me. No relationship is going to stand that long term. No relationship is going to allow you to be healthy, knowing that you're not being loved and respected. No relationship is going to last if you allow that to happen. You have got to set those boundaries in order to be as happy and healthy within the context of your relationship as possible. All of those things. Anyway, y'all, it's been a fun conversation. As always, man, I really enjoy, when we have these chats. Last week, I know I was going through a little something and I wasn't really able to focus, but I definitely appreciate y'all. I love these chats, man. I love these conversations, because y'all bring a lot of things to me, and I learn so much as we talk about it. All of these relationship topics that we have, whether we're talking about, shit, man, we've had so many talks. Good Lord. We've talked about some of everything, man. And I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all just don't even understand. Anyway, this particular episode, this episode of the CM show started from, conversations that were being had on the TV show Ready to Love. So as always, y'all, the link is in the chat. You can check out my review of episode 6. You can check out my review of episode 6 of Ready to Love season 4. The link is in the chat, or you can just do a search on Ready to Love and I'll pop up. Y'all, please be sure that you like, the video. If you don't like it, dislike it. Just hit the thumbs down. But just let me know how you feel about the video, about my review. And just leave a comment. I normally respond to all the comments because, as always, I love how y'all think. I love what y'all got to say. This has been a great conversation, a great night tonight. And I really appreciate y'all being here. The show, I think episode 7 comes on this Friday. I will be live tweeting as usual. So if you haven't, follow me on Twitter at author Christopher Markland. The link's in the description section below. Y'all, I will see y'all next week. Not sure what the topic's going to be, but hey, we're going to have fun with it regardless. Man, I appreciate y'all being here. And as always, y'all, stay determined. Have a good one, y'all.